Solve the system of nonlinear equations using a graphing tool. What is the y-coordinate of the point of intersection? So when it says to solve the system using a graphing tool, you want to think of things like the graphing calculator or online resources like Desmos. And since these equations are nonlinear, it's very important to know how to use them since we don't know how to graph these by hand. So since both are in y equals, we can use the first tool, the graphing calculator. We're going to turn it on and use the y equals button to type in our two equations. So since there's exponents, we're going to have to use what's called a caret button, which is the little up arrow underneath the clear button, to go give us our exponent. So x squared will be x caret 2 plus 6x plus 5. Then I'll scroll down to type in the second equation. We have negative x caret 2 minus 2x minus 3. To see this system, we can then hit graph, and both of our equations will then be graphed, and we can see the point of intersection, but it's really hard to tell what point that is, so we need the calculator to tell us exactly what point it is. So we'll hit second trace to bring us to the calculate menu. And if we look, number 5 says intersect. So we can scroll down and hit enter or just hit the number 5. If our cursor's on the first equation, we can hit enter. Then if the cursor's on the other equation, we can hit enter. And then we'll move using the left or right arrows to where we think they're going to intersect, which looks to be right about there. And we'll hit enter again. So now the calculator says that the intersection is at x equals negative 1.9999 and y equals negative 2.999. And sometimes the calculator, if it's going to have 0.99999, it's giving us our exact. Well, we can round and say that x equals negative 2 and y equals negative 3. So sometimes the calculator has that limitation. So we can round to whole numbers as negative 2, negative 3. Then the y-coordinate would be a, negative 3. Now, what if we don't want limitations, or what if you don't even have a graphing calculator at home? Well, we can use the internet and go to a website called Desmos.com. So if we go to the internet, this is Desmos.com/calculator, and we can type our two equations into the two boxes. So the caret button on your computer keyboard is Shift 6. So if we're typing in x squared, it'll be x Shift 6 2. But also make sure, go back, I'm going to start over. You have to make sure you type in y equals. So then we'll have x Shift 6 2, and then make sure you use the right arrow key to move out of the exponent, plus 6x plus 5. Then I'm going to move and click in the second box to give y equals negative x Shift 6 2 minus 2x minus 3 to give me my other curve, or not 22, but 2x. If you make any mistakes, you can just click right to where you want to go and click and fix it. And if I click in the area for the two graphs, right now I can't really see where the two equations are intersecting, but if you click in the graph area and then hold and move your graph, you can move your whole window around to better see where they intersect. Now if I click where I think they're intersecting, and then right about here, if I hover, I see that it's that point, negative 2, negative 3, which again agrees with our graphing calculator and still gives us that y value of negative 3. So whether you're using the graphing calculator or the Desmos, you'll get the same answer, and you didn't have to do it by hand.